welcome to episode 357 of Good Luck High Five.
If you play Magic the Gathering, you are in the right place because this is a podcast all about it.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's show, we are hitching our wagon to an ox and heading out west because we're talking Pioneer.
That's right. You know, for some reason, when you were talking about that, I was like, were pioneers the people who went west? But I guess like they were.
Yeah.
That's what they were.
And I also questioned myself when I said we're hitching our wagon to an ox because wouldn't you want your horse to pull you? But
remember in Oregon Trail,
it was an ox.
Yeah.
Your ox is what pulled you.
Yeah.
And your dysentery is what killed you.
And buffalo were what you overhunted.
Oh, yeah. I had too much buffalo meat.
We all always did.
We all had too much buffalo meat to carry back to the wagon.
If there's anything that Oregon Trail taught our generation, it was overhunting of America's, poor wildlife.
Yeah, those poor buffaloes.
We
really did a number on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pioneer. We had 2 Players Tour events happening this past weekend in Brussels and Nagoya. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go over the top deck lists and the top decks from those tournaments.
Yeah, because we've got another one coming up this weekend.
Yes, Phoenix. Players Tour America happening in Phoenix this weekend. You can watch it Friday through Sunday on twitch.tv/magic.
It's also going to be Pioneer, and a lot of people are wondering, how are these changes from this past weekend going to shake up this coming weekend?
I mean, it's exciting too because this is like being present at the birth of a new format. We're in the hospital room.
I don't want to be there. I'll be honest.
Put on your catcher's mitts. It's time to find out what decks are being birthed.
That's why Maria isn't allowed in a hospital.
Yeah, I have a ban. I have a strict ban.
Strict ban.
But yeah, like a lot of cool stuff happened this past weekend. What will we see happening in Phoenix? Plus Theros Beyond Draft booster. Beyond Draft. Did you hear me?
Theros Beyond Draft. Theros Beyond Death, a booster draft.
Yes, happening at the Players Tours as well.
Yeah, so we're talking all about that. Plus, we'll have, of course, a little bit more Theros story time.
Excellent.
Which just means generic Greek story time.
Well, people have been loving it.
Yeah, it's true. And, maybe we'll play some flavor text theater if we get around to it.
Yeah, so super cool stuff coming up. Before we get the show on the road, big thank you to everybody who supports us over on patreon.com/GLHFmagic.
That's right. Thank you so much to anyone who is a member of our patron family. It really means the world to us. And you get sweet rewards like playmats, like stickers, like just knowing that you're out there doing a good thing for something that you enjoy.
Yeah, and we normally have our Patreon pledge drive month. Oh, God, I can't talk today. I would love to have a Patreon pledge drive munch. Where we just all get together and eat Reese's Trees. But we normally have it in February, but we're gone so much of this month because of the 3 events that we're covering coming up. But next month is when we're going to do it.
Yes, that's
FYI.
right. March will be it. By then, our very special prizes will have arrived.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And we can show you and get you super, super hyped.
But that does not mean that February is not an important month to support the creators you love. It's traditionally a month of very low support for creators across the board.
And it also is just a real bummer on its own.
Yeah, we had more cloudy days in January here in Minnesota than in recent memory.
Like since the 1930s.
Yeah, so come on. Bring a little sunshine to your creators' lives.
Just when there's nothing. Winter isn't fresh and new and exciting.
No.
It's just boring and tired and exhausting and old, and it sucks now.
But you know how you can make it suck less? Come be a member of our show.
Yeah.
It would super make it suck less.
And hopefully listening to this podcast already makes it suck less.
Yeah, I hope so too.
So you can, do a little equal exchange of things being less terrible.
Yeah. Thank you to Card Kingdom for sure being not terrible.
That's right. Even excellent.
Yeah, I would put them in the excellent category.
All the way on the other end of the spectrum.
You can head to cardkingdom.com/GLHF. That's the affiliate link to use anytime you buy something from their website. And if you're buying magical stuff, you should buy it from Card Kingdom. They're a fabulous company to buy things from. They've got great customer support, super fast shipping, and a really great array of products for you to purchase as well.
And if you're up in Seattle, they have some sweet stores that you can check out.
Gosh, have you ever been, people? They're so cool.
They're
Mox
great.
Boarding House. You got to check it out.
Head on out there, get it done.
It's time to talk Pioneer, Megan.
Wow, Maria. You've been on a Pioneer kick.
Yes, I have. I've had to have been because we got to get ready for the Players Tour coming up this weekend.
Give me your headline thought on Pioneer.
Unsolved.
Wow, hot take.
The Wild West, right? Because here we are starting this past weekend in Brussels and Nagoya. We had our first taste of official quote unquote pioneer action at the sanctioned organized play Magic level.
Yeah.
For a lot
At
of money.
like the premier level.
Premier level, sorry, yeah. And like what happened? It was super diverse. The metagame was awesome. It was all over the board. People brought a lot of different decks. We did have one, which we're going to talk about, of course, that kind of rose to the top like the cream of the format. But that doesn't mean that like it's broken for sure. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
We're going to find out in Phoenix this next weekend if people want to play that all the time or if they've adapted and they can beat it and this kind of thing. What I'm saying is it's really cool to be present at the start of a format. Like imagine being around for the start of Modern.
Yeah.
And people did not know
What was going to be
what was good.
What was going to be the beating heart of Modern in the future.
So I think that's super cool to be present at this moment in Magic.
So what are the decks that we're going to know like 3 or 4 years from now when we think of like the quintessential Pioneer decks?
Yeah, what's
we
the
don't
Tron
know those yet.
Of Pioneer.
Yeah. Well, no one wants the Tron of Pioneer.
That's a fair point.
Know what it is.
That is a fair point.
Yeah, there's a couple of different like flavors. Obviously, I think a couple that come to mind for me are Devotion has been like a really big playing ground.
That's true.
In Pioneer right now, you've seen Mono Black Devotion, you've seen Mono Green, which was so good that it had to get hit with a couple of bans.
Yep.
There's
Mono White Devotion for
some
sure.
Mono Red Aggro,
Yeah.
which is a Mono Red Devotion deck running around.
Yeah, so I think that's like a good baseline level. Let's quickly talk about the decks that were the standouts from Brussels and Nagoya.
Yeah.
So in Brussels, Joel Larson was the winner of that tournament, of course, a Pro Tour champion himself, who brought a Sultai deck that was kind of a Sultai ramp homebrew.
Yeah.
And he took the tournament down. The deck of Nagoya was a Sultai, Inverter, Demir Inverter. We'll talk about that as well. But only one copy of the Inverter deck showed up in Brussels. So,
which was not at all the way it was represented in Nagoya.
No, not at all. So really cool to see these two different kind of spheres of Magic playing out so differently in their top eights, which is also pretty neat.
So I'm going to have us look really quickly at that Sultai Delirium, I think is what they were calling it, deck that won in Brussels.
That Joel was playing,
that is very new.
Okay, so
obviously.
Sultai Delirium.
Yes. So this has a lot of the creatures are all over the place. There's a lot of one-ofs in here. The one that comes to mind, obviously, the only creature besides Satyr Wayfinder.
That's a
Good
4
old
of.
Satyr Wayfinder, 4 of. The only one that's a 4 of besides that is Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath.
I mean, like, Uro, good in Standard, good in Pioneer.
Yeah.
Does everything you want, draws you cards, gains you life, ramps you.
So this is a card that says 1 green/blue for a 6/6. When Uro enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever Uro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life, draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And it escapes for green/blue/blue, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard.
And this is cool because you mentioned that the name of the deck is Sultai Delirium. And remember, if you recall the Delirium mechanic, it was super popular in Standard back in its
popular,
heyday.
they had to ban some of the Hallmark cards from it because it was very, very good. So we see one of those here, Emrakul the Promised End.
Yes.
Do y'all remember this? It's a 13 mana, 13/13.
Okay.
Legendary creature Eldrazi. Emrakul the Promised End costs 1 less to cast for each card type among cards in your graveyard.
There you go.
So that's what you're doing. You're trying to discount it as much as you can. When you cast Emrakul, you gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn. After that turn, that player takes an extra turn. Really wild.
And it's neat though because Uro cares about having things in the graveyard to help escape, and Delirium wants things in the graveyard to trigger Delirium. So it's all like, synergy. Synergy.
Yes. So that's really, really cool. I also like we're seeing where 3 Jace Vryn's Prodigy. I really
This is
enjoy
your favorite
card.
Jace.
This is my favorite Jace. 1 and a blue for an 0/2. It's a creature at this point until it flips. Draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, exile Jace Vryn's Prodigy, then return him to the battlefield transformed under his owner's control.
Great.
But it's really this creature side that's like double thumbs up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Enabling your Delirium, helping you get that Uro back, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a super grindy deck.
Yes,
Grindfest.com. That's going to win by basically doing the value thing by putting things into the graveyard. And
BT dubs, don't go to grindfest.com. want to put that out there. Like, don't do it.
It could be a skateboarding website.
Sure, yes, I'm sure that's what it is.
Now I want to go.
Well, go get your phone. We're not doing it on my laptop.
Okay, find another deck to talk about.
All right. Well, I like Delirium as a mechanic, so I was very into that one. But Niv to Light.
This is a popular deck.
This is a popular deck in the format. It of course has two of the cards that are indicated in the name, which are Niv Mizzet Reborn, who's the Wooburg Dragon avatar. 6/6, when Niv Mizzet enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them. Put the chosen cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This also has 2 Uro, and then it has 4 copies of Bring to Light.
Classic.
Which is a sorcery from back in Battle for Zendikar.
Yeah.
Which was 3 green-blue, converge, search your library for a creature, instant, or sorcery card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of colors of mana spent to cast Bring to Light. Exile that card, then shuffle your library. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. So it's sweet. Like, you could pay Wooburg for this and go get Niv.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also, once you cast Niv, like, it could get you more copies of Bring to Light, because Bring to Light is in the Sultai color pair.
Yeah, this is a really cool deck.
Yeah.
Letting you cast all just great cards, basically.
Yep. And it classically has a lot of one-ofs, which Bring to Light has. There's a copy of Dreadbore, a copy of Hour of Devastation, a copy of Slaughter Games, 1 copy Solar Blaze, 1 copy Thoughtseize. I like that one Thoughtseize.
One Thoughtseize.
One single Thoughtseize.
By the way, grindfest.com is for sale, everybody.
Wow, I can't believe
It's
that
for
it
sale.
doesn't exist.
So if you have a skateboarding festival you've been meaning to put
on.
or something
Name
else.
it something else. I
was going to say buy the website before it goes.
You could do that. Or
I should contact them, find out how much they want for it. Grindfest.com. Anyway.
Yeah. So, and then obviously it has a lot of like Gilded Goose, Sylvan Caryatid, which help you ramp your mana. And Ahiri the Harbinger, which I love. Yeah. So that's a really cool deck.
Yeah, Niv to Light.
Like it.
I like it. It's one of the most popular decks in the format right now.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of the most popular decks in the format that we've seen in both of these top 8s in Brussels and Nagoya is Bant Spirits or Azorius Spirits. The Bant version, I think, is the better version and more interesting. So, of course, we're playing spirits just like you would in Modern. So we've got tribal spirits like Rattle Chains, Supreme Phantom giving things +1/+1, Selfless Spirit to help protect all of your spirits, Spell Queller because you hate everybody.
Yeah. Spell Queller because you want, actually, I think because you want to be hated by everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Brazen Borrower is joining the Spirit Party here, a new card from Throne of Eldraine.
It's just a little fairy rogue, but it gets some work done.
And but the reason that we're playing Bant, so green in this list, is for Collected Company.
Yeah, classic. Of course you want Collected Company.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. It
you just do.
The hits off Collected Company with this deck are so good. Hitting Spell Queller, hitting Nebelgast Herald to tap things down. But it doesn't even matter.
Selfless Spirit.
Selfless
I'm sure
Spirit,
if your opponent's trying to wrath you.
Yeah, it's just, this deck is super powerful. I played against it a bunch online.
Yeah.
It's really fun and also really mean.
Classic, very fun, very mean.
Yeah.
Mono Black Aggro, of course, another staple of the format right now.
So this was the most represented deck at Players Tour Brussels. And basically it's going to do what it's going to do, which is playing a lot of cheap little creatures and getting in there for lots of early damage. Don't have to worry about your mana too much because you're only playing swamps.
But also a lot of evasion.
Yes.
So it's not just cheap creatures like Bloodsoaked Champion and Gutterbones, Knight of the Ebon Legion, but there's also 3 copies of Rankle Master of Pranks in this list, which is from Brussels. There's also 2 Spawn of Mayhem, which is a big old flyer.
That flyer can get out of control pretty quick in this deck. And I think another kind of, well, I'm not going to call it evasion, but whatever. It's got 4 copies of Thoughtseize in the main deck, which is super, super important because there's a lot of decks that are trying to assemble combos and do their thing in Pioneer right now. So just like Modern, you're going to get Thoughtseized.
Get them out of there. Also, Fatal Push, which is just
Yep.
so good. Instant, destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less for a single black. Revolt, destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less instead of a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. Just great card.
And classic too, here playing a monocolored list, you get to run things like Castle Locthwain, which
Yeah.
helps you draw cards once you run out of steam with the deck, and Mutavault.
Mutavault.
Yeah, so
Wow.
helping you dodge removal and be a creature that can get in there for those final points of damage.
Of course, I love combos. And I,
Like pretzel, cheddar cheese pretzel.
you know, we've had this talk before. We've had this talk before, and like, I can't believe we're bringing it up again. But like, I'm not a big combos person.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot what
just
you
not.
answered. Now I want some though. Okay.
I mean, I'm
anyway,
really hungry, so.
talk about this breach deck.
Yeah, this just has like, it's just a fun, weird combo deck. You've got 4 copies of Hidden Strings, which is 1 in a blue. You may tap or untap target permanent. Then you may tap or untap another target permanent.
Oh, it's a classic cipher card.
Yes, classic cipher card. And then also there's 3 copies of Underworld Breach to get things back from your graveyard. And then things like, you know, Vizier of Tumbling Sands. There we go. I was like, what is this? Untap another target permanent for 2 in a, it's 2 in a blue. Cycling 1 in a blue. Whenever you cycle Vizier of Tumbling Sands, untap target permanent.
This deck seems silly.
Yes, it is very silly.
This was played by Brent Voss at PT Brussels, by the
Yep.
way. If you like things like Lotus Field, which is what it's named after, Lotus Field and Underworld Breach.
And then, so you're probably sitting there being like, but how does this deck win? Great question.
Great question.
Great question. 4 copies of Fae of Wishes in the main, which of course has its adventure half granted. 3 in a blue, sorcery adventure. You may choose a non-creature card from you own from outside the game, reveal it, put it into your hand. And then it has lots of things. It has Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, being one of the big ones. You have a lot of card draw. And then it also has some things like Supreme Verdict that it can go and get to help you out as you try and do, you know, whatever combo you're trying to do. And then Eugene the Spirit Dragon
Eugene
is also in here.
I love you, Eugene.
I know. What a dragon buddy.
He's such a good dragon buddy.
Yeah. So Jace, Wielder of Mysteries being in there to help you win.
Jace Wielder of Mysteries winning not only in that deck.
Yes, but also in the deck that
Let's
we've been
talk about
hinting at.
the most important deck, probably, at least going into Phoenix, Dimir Inverter.
So this is a brand new deck.
Yes.
And
Welcome.
It is spicy.
It's a house. It was in the top 8, of course, in Brussels, but more widely represented in the top 8 in Nagoya.
5 copies.
5 copies out of 8, which is pretty absurd.
Yes.
All revolving around a few cards, but the most important, the namesake of the deck, Inverter of Truth.
Yes.
Do you remember this card?
No.
I didn't.
Goodness, no. So 2 black for a 6/6 creature Eldrazi, devoid, has no color, flying. When Inverter of Truth enters the battlefield, exile all cards from your library face down, then shuffle all cards from your graveyard into your library.
So essentially, your graveyard becomes your library become your graveyard.
Yes.
And I remember casting this in draft and being like, fingers crossed that I can win in time.
Did you?
Probably not. Like, how many cards are in my graveyard? Then like 2?
Not enough.
Not enough.
The answer is just never enough.
But the deal is you're trying to get rid of all the cards in your graveyard, in your library, and winning with Jace Wielder of Mysteries.
Yes, or Thassa's Oracle.
Or Thassa's Oracle.
So Thassa's Oracle, this is just a cool little card.
It's really great.
Which we haven't really seen do any work yet until it got hit. It hit in this deck.
Yes.
Blue for a 1/3 creature Merfolk Wizard. When Thassa's Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. Put up to 1 of them on top of your library and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game.
So, yeah, mill yourself. Thassa's Oracle, you win. Jace Wielder of Mysteries,
You win.
You win. Very powerful stuff
And then
here.
the rest of it is just like ways to, you know, look at cards in your library. You have Dig Through Time, which can also make your graveyard smaller. When you cast that Inverter of Truth, it has Omen of the Sea to help you look at and draw cards. Some stuff like Drown in the Lock and Fatal Push to help keep you alive long enough. And classic Thoughtseize and Thought Erasure to disrupt other people's plans.
Yeah, this deck seems awesome.
It's really cool.
It looks like it's got everything that it needs, honestly.
Yeah.
Through cards to help you with early interaction, like you mentioned, Thoughtseize, Thought Erasure, etc. And then just get to your stuff faster with Omen of the Sea, Opt, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this deck has a major target on it coming into this next weekend, so I'm super interested to see what happens. Will it be dominant once again, or will people be ready for it?
Yeah. Do you know what I've heard some people are starting to play?
What?
Gideon of the Trials.
Okay.
Do you remember that Gideon?
That Gideon, he stops damage. I remember that.
Not that one. It's 1 white, and his 0 is you get an emblem that's basically if you control a Gideon Planeswalker,
you can't lose.
And your opponents can't win.
Yep, that is right.
So people are starting to play that.
I think it stops damage from one source until the next turn.
Maybe that's one of its plus or minus.
One of the plus or minus, but that's not why we're playing it.
Yeah. Actually, it might not even have a minus. I think it might just have a 0.
Gosh, it's wild to dive back into these old cards from Pioneer again.
Yeah, that you haven't thought of.
I haven't thought about getting into the Trials for 1,000 years.
I know. Ooh, okay. Yeah, it has a +1 and then it has 2 zeros.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wild.
Okay, cool. Yeah, getting into the Trials. I guess that's gonna help you out there.
You know, will it be enough?
I don't know.
We don't know.
I honestly don't know.
Oh man, another card. I'm looking at this mono red aggro list from Brussels.
You're looking at a mono red aggro list?
I mean, I'm not gonna play it. I'm just saying that I glanced at it.
You're looking at it.
I'm physically looking at it right now.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Speaking of cards that you haven't thought of in forever, Carrie Zev Skyship Raider. Do you remember this? Do you remember Ragavan?
Yeah, I do. Ragavan was a great monkey.
Yes, her little 2/1 legendary monkey, Ragavan. Yeah. Oh, he's not. He's legendary.
He's legendary.
Yep. You can't have more than one Ragavan.
No, you can't.
There's only one Ragavan in your life.
Torbrand, Thane of Redfell.
Yeah.
Of course, because we've got to deal more damage with our red deck.
Yep. Anyways, Carrie Zev is just what really caught my eye.
That's kind of cool.
Wow, I haven't thought about that in a while.
Let's take a look at some of the top 8 from Nagoya because I want to talk about a deck in particular that we haven't mentioned yet.
Oh, of course.
Which made a bit of a splash.
Everyone probably sees
in
it coming.
my heart, Ken Yukuhiro. Of course, we can always count on Ken for bringing a really fun and interesting deck, and he did not disappoint with one of my favorite cards of all time, SRAM.
That's right.
SRAM Auras from Ken Yukuhiro. He came in second at Players Tour Nagoya, and this is kind of similar to a deck I have been playing in Standard. Remember last week I talked about Black-White Auras?
Yeah.
This deck is very, very similar, but we don't have access to SRAM Senior Edificer, unfortunately, in Standard right now.
Which is really what you want.
Yes, SRAM is amazing.
Yes.
2/2, whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card.
Yep.
For 1 and a white.
Of course, it has
great.
4 copies of Alseid of Life's Bounty, which we talked about last week.
Giving protection.
It has 4 Hateful Eidolon.
Drawing
which
cards,
is
same
the
as Standard.
black mana 1/2 lifelink. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card for each aura you control that was attached to it. You lost. You lost a game thanks to that.
Yeah, I should tell you the story.
Yeah,
so
I want to hear. I wanted you to hear about it.
I was playing this deck in Pioneer this morning, and I was playing against a red-green stompy kind of deck. And I had a Hateful Eidolon suited up with about 1 million different enchantments, because of course you're running all that glitters, Cartouche of Solidarity, Ethereal Armor, Griff Spoon, Sentinel's Eyes, whatever. It had all of those on it, okay? And at one point in the game, I had more than 300 life, and you're like, Maria, what happened? Did you win? Of course you won. The answer is no, I lost. How is that possible? Great question. And it was not because I was playing against Demir. As I said, it was green-red stompy. So what happened was the little Eidolon was all suited up, gaining me 1 billion life a turn, but it was constantly blocked by a phoenix, a rekindling phoenix on the other side of the battlefield. Yeah. And I couldn't, for the life of me, find some Alseid of Life's bounties to sacrifice to give it pro-red or whatever, which wouldn't have mattered anyway because I had a Heart of Kieran, so that would have blocked for a turn. But in the end, what happened is they were able to kill my Hateful Eidolon, which was, I think, a 30-30 at the point they killed it, using Chandra, the mode of her ultimate, that whenever you cast a spell, it deals 5 to something.
Oh, yeah.
And they had amassed enough spells to be able to string enough together to deal 30 damage to this little Eidolon. to get it out of the way so they could attack me with what their board was enormous at this point. And at this point, my hope would have been to mill them out because they had less cards in their library than I did. But what happened is when my Hateful Eidolon died, still I had like 200 something life. So, I'd be alive for a while, but I drew 1 billion cards because of the ability on it. So then I would have decked first. Classic.
Rough.
And that's what I'm talking about, Pioneer being the Wild West. Like, what was that game? What was that game?
Really incredible.
But this deck's very, very fun to play.
Yeah.
It is not easy to play this deck. Ken Yukuhiro, I mean, you're like, oh, he got second. This is great. He broke it. I've tried playing it. It is a really rather difficult deck to play. So be aware of that going in. It's not just like, throwing a hat on a boggle and being like, big cornet, I win. But yeah, it's a really, really cool and unique deck. So thank you, Ken, for bringing this deck into my life.
I love that it has, again, speaking of old cards, Favored Hoplite.
Yeah, right?
From original Theros, Heroic, whenever you cast a spell that targets Favored Hoplite, put a +1/+1 counter on it and prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn. 1, 2, and 1 mana.
Yeah, you got to have that one drop in this deck. I think that my favorite thing about it is a sideboard with 3 copies of Apostle of Purifying Light, which is Pearl Black card. Ooh. So Ken was ready for the mono black decks to come this past weekend.
That's spicy. 3 copies. Yeah,
3 copies.
We're not playing around.
No, very, very important, I'm sure, for him. So, yeah, those are some of the spicy, fun, exciting decks from the PTs this past weekend. Of course, Pioneer much bigger than that as well. Like, we didn't get into like the mono red chonky deck, which a lot of people like to play.
Chonky.
There's blue white control, obviously, because in what format isn't there? There's the mono white devotion deck, which has the Ballista Heliod combo, which some people call, quote, the new Splinter Twin.
I've heard some people everyone likes to call something the new Splinter Twin.
That's true. That's true.
Twoo.
That's true.
I've also heard people call the Demir deck, the Demir Inverter deck.
The new Splinter Twin?
The new Splinter Twin.
Nobody will be happy until...
Everyone wants to call something the new Splinter Twin.
Is it in Soul is another cool deck if you want to make some giant scissors.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to live the giant scissors life?
Let's talk about this deck for a hot second because In Soul Artifact's so fun.
I love. So this has 4 copies of Bomat Courier, 4 copies of Ginger Brute. Wow, of all things. And then it has, let's see, 4 copies of Skilled Animator. So this is from M19. 2 in a blue for a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 5/5 for as long as you have Skilled Animator, which is pretty great. And then obviously it has 4 copies of Ensoul Artifact, which is 1 in a blue. Enchanted Artifact is a creature with base power and toughness 5/5. So you're just making... You're making giant scissors. You could have a 5/5 on turn 2.
We call it giant scissors just in case you don't know, because in Soul Artifact, the art is some scissors.
It's a giant pair of scissors. And in this case, it seems like it's talking about like sentient scissors.
Yeah, it looks like it. And you get to play Ghostfire Blade?
Wow.
Oh, heck. I like this card.
Ghostfire Blade was great.
Remember, 1 mana, equipped creature gets +2/+2. The equip cost is 3, but its equip ability costs 2 less to activate if it's a colorless creature. So you in cons, you're doing this with morphs.
Yeah. So like 1 mana for a Ghostfire Blade, 1 mana to equip it.
Nice.
Rough.
But now we're doing it on a Ginger Brute or a Bomat Courier or a Stonecoil Serpent.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It also has Emery Lurker of the Lock, which makes a lot of sense.
Great.
You can maybe get some artifacts back if
I want to play this one now. Now I'm excited about this one.
I like it.
This is kind of fun. Anyway, Pioneer, like what? That's my conclusion.
Pioneer, say
what? There's so much going on. Nobody has figured it out yet, unless we figure out that this Demir Inverter deck is the quote-unquote truth.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll find out pretty soon. But honestly, not everyone's playing it. Like, there's so much fun to be having this early in a format. What do you want to play, Megan?
I want to try this Lotus Breach combo.
Yeah.
Like, people thought Underworld Breach might be broken. Like, let's see it. I want to see it.
Let's break it. Let's do it.
I want to see it be broken.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that card, it does seem like... Doesn't it just seem like it should be broken,
right? It seems like it should, so I'm going to get out there to give it a whirl. Or also Nivtalite is also very cool.
Yeah, I like that as well. I
Yeah.
did try the mono black vampires deck a little bit because I do love Sorin so much. And I played vampires in standard. It's not really the same. It's basically like the mono black aggro deck plus a Sorin.
Okay.
But like whatever. It's still kind of cool.
Plus a Sorin.
It just plays so many Thoughtseize effects that it felt like a bad person after it. You know what I mean?
As you should if you're playing a bunch of Thoughtseize effects.
Thoughtseize, best card in Pioneer.
Thoughtseize, you're a monster for playing it.
I mean, don't you have to though? Kind of.
No. There's never any compulsion to be a bad person, Maria.
You know what?
Besides your own personal compulsion to do
I
it.
feel like Thoughtseize should be banned in Pioneer.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's like the most scalding hot take we've ever had on the show.
It probably shouldn't. There's no way, right?
No.
'Cause
it's
we can't-
considered a like quintessentially fair card.
Because we can't like stop. We need something to stop these combo
Yes.
decks from doing their thing.
And also, like, for as frustrating as it is, you know, like, you're paying a lot for it. You're paying a lot for the opportunity to maybe not actually succeed at what you're trying to do.
2 life plus a card.
Yeah, 2 life plus a card. And you're just looking at, like, what if, you know, they don't have their combo in hand? What if instead they just draw it next?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you're not affecting the board the
Exactly.
time you play that card.
So
either.
classic fair card, even if it just really makes you mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most infuriating card, yes.
yes, for sure.
By a
As a Boggles player.
by a New York mile.
I
New York
wait.
minute. By like
a New York mile.
What's the phrase that I'm looking for?
Minute.
Like, but what's the mile one? Like fast as quick as a New York minute. That's like a time thing.
Yeah.
But like longer than a something mile. Is that a phrase?
I don't think so. The whole 9 yards. Is that what you're
No. It's like, wow. Maybe
A country mile. That's what you're thinking of.
is like longer than a country mile.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a country mile.
Fair enough.
But I do like a New York mile, which is probably like just
Miles are the same everywhere.
twisty
so.
and turny.
Yeah.
Like if you're walking along a journey that's only a mile,
They're on a grid.
but you have to take a lot of corners.
Oh yeah, if
You
you have
know?
to turn a bunch.
So that's a new phrase that you can use in your life.
Can you get somewhere on a grid by only turning like at most twice, right?
I don't know.
Like what's
Can
the
you?
most you should have to turn on a grid? I feel like the answer is
Twice?
twice.
But
Yeah.
what if you want to go back up?
But okay, I'm saying like if you're going from here to here on a grid and you get to pick which direction you're pointing like to start out, you should be able to get
Anywhere with just 2 turns?
Yeah.
Pretty
at
sure
most.
UPS use this in their delivery setup. They can only make right turns or
They're
whatever.
like, what?
Yeah.
UPS can only make right turns?
Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were at a point.
Oh, that makes sense because then you just spiral out in your delivery.
Because the left turns, you have to stop and wait at lights and stuff.
And they never come home.
They just stay out there. But I think they like cut down on emissions and whatever by
What?
only doing right turns.
That's wild.
I know.
That's great.
We'll have to look it up later. It's
Yeah, we will.
interesting.
Okay.
It's time for some story time with Megan.
That's right. So someone commented a couple of weeks ago saying that the story of Arachne and not Artemis, Athena is one of their favorites.
Okay.
And I want to say that there are some versions of this that are late enough that it's Arachne and Minerva, which is Athena's Roman goddess name,
Okay.
when they just kind of came in and co-opted that.
I mean, sometimes you don't want to spend time getting
Making
new,
your own things.
new gods.
Exactly. You don't want to have your own ideas.
Just take
You just
them.
want to take someone else's ideas. So anyways, I want to say like this is actually one of the stories in Ovid's Metamorphoses.
Okay.
Metamorphoses. Anyways, so Arachne was like a girl who learned how to weave. And she was a really great weaver because she started when she was a kid and she practiced all the time. And everyone was like, oh my goodness, Arachne, your weavings are like the most beautiful of all time. They're so gorgeous. And Arachne didn't really have like a sense of decorum or, you know, like or humility. So she went around like she got very proud and she was like, I'm a better weaver than even the gods themselves. Athena,
Whoa.
goddess of, amongst many, many other things, weaving.
Holy cow. That is asking for it.
Yes, I am better than you, Athena. And Athena, like I said, she's the goddess of a lot of things. Like she's like war and being quite smart and also weaving in the list. And Athena is like, wow. So originally she disguises herself, and she, as an old woman, goes to Arachne, is like, just so you know, like, you're tempting the gods when you say this.
Oh, yeah, warning.
Yes, but I bet if you take it back, like, Athena won't mind. And Arachne is just like,
Nope.
YOLO, man. Like,
No way.
am it.
I said what I said, and I meant
Yes.
it.
And if Athena really thought that she was better than me, she should come down here and challenge me herself.
Whoa.
And Athena, in her disguise, is just like, oh, no, you didn't.
You know you didn't.
And so she throws off her disguise and is like, I challenge you to a weaving contest.
Great.
And so they have a weaving contest.
Who are the judges?
You
What
know
are they
I
weaving?
think that like Athena is the judge, even though she's in the contest.
That seems a little wrong, but all right.
Yes. You know, like it's like a contest set up in terms of like we're both gonna do this thing pitted against each other. They didn't really think about like the structure or judging.
Yeah,
They were
double
just, like,
elimination.
They were like, we're just gonna sit down, weave for
doing
a
a
day.
draft first.
None of that.
Okay.
They didn't think it through. They were just like, it's happening now.
All right.
So they sit down and they weave. And Athena weaves like a very beautiful piece that's all about, depending on stories, I think that it's either just all of the gods up on Mount Olympus doing good deeds
Oh, that's
for people,
nice.
or it's like different times that the gods were challenged by mortals and the gods punished them.
Oh, that seems more accurate.
Yeah, so it's like
Apt.
that really seems like in Athena's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me. So it's like
And the last one is her like just like murdering this other
murdering Arachne and just
Yeah.
being like, no.
I weaved it.
Yeah, so she's like, here it is, you know. Watch out. Here, this is my weaving, which is very nice and also says, watch it, buddy.
Great.
And Arachne in turn makes a weaving that shows the gods misbehaving, like all of the times that the gods have really messed it up.
Ooh.
So she makes this piece and she shows it, and Athena is so mad because one, it shows all of the gods just messing around like in their worst moments. And it is better than hers.
Oh,
And
snap.
so it's so mad. Can you imagine if you wrote like a whole dramatic, like you made a very dramatic movie, and then a movie that made fun of dramatic movies was also still like undeniably better than
your
yours?
movie? You would be like, oh, God,
You would just
dang
be
it.
so angry. Yep. And so Athena sees it and she's like, wow, I'm so mad. I'm mad because of the subject matter, and I'm mad because of the quality. And so she takes her shuttle from the
Yeah.
loom situation and beats
From
her
the
with it.
Enterprise. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
We're really crossing.
Oh, yeah.
Crossing our
She beats her
fandoms
with
here.
her shuttle.
Beats her with it. And anyways, and then dark version of this is that first Arachne is like humiliated, or is like basically feels bad about the whole
Yeah.
situation and kills herself.
Oof.
And then Athena is like, no, you're gonna suffer for longer. And so she transforms her into a spider.
Classic God.
Yeah. So she transforms her into a spider, and that's why arachnid.
And that's why spiders are so good at weaving.
And that's why spiders are so good at weaving.
That's why I see all of those spider webs down in my basement showing the gods doing terrible things.
Exactly.
I just thought that was a little weird.
Actually, the truth is that if you look at any spider web close enough, what you're going to see is a depiction of the Greek gods misbehaving.
Great.
Yes.
Well, this is really cool. And I think we can also see all this stuff reflected in the Theros Beyond Death cards like Chainweb Arachnir.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Exactly.
And it has like references to like weaving, like on some of the sagas. We see an incomplete weave
Yeah.
done
and
on
stuff
one
like
of
that.
them.
Yeah. Very
Oh,
cool.
Really neat.
I know, right?
Well, great story. I love origin stories of like where like commonplace things come from. Like,
Yeah.
why are spiders so good at weaving? I love
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Same.
Well, great classic story time.
Yep. Classic Theros story time.
We are going to play Flavor Text Theater, everybody.
Yes.
Super fight.
So we're each going to crack a pack, and then we're going to make a little like 3-card tableau.
Yeah.
Which is our hero or our champion.
And we are going to like say, this is how our champion would win in this fight
Yes.
against your champion. See if we can tell a little story and really make the case for why ours is going to win.
The reflection token just like, oh, it's so funny.
I know.
That whole card is
I
so
love
funny.
this card. All right, Megan, hit me with
Okay.
your battle.
All right. So first we have a Blight Breath Catoblepus. Obviously, really stinky breath.
Gross.
Which is just going to be a problem. It's already killing you. And this Catoblepus is offering you 2 choices. You hear me?
Okay.
Either it'll perform your funeral rites because you're going to be dead already. Or it'll make you forget everything you know with the taste of sweet oblivion. But it's going to be one or the other, buddy. So you got to make your choice.
That's spooky.
Do you want this Catoblepus to make you forget everything you know? Or do you want it to just straight up murder you and bury your body?
Probably option A.
Yeah?
Cake or death. I'll have cake, please. Oh, I didn't expect so many people. All right. This is a similar tale, but not entirely.
Okay.
What's going to happen is we're getting really excited because it's the birth of Meletus, everybody.
Oh, wow.
Meletus is coming out. 04 wall. Not too spooky, but he's not born yet until there's a triumphant surge.
Ooh.
And he gets pushed into this world.
Isn't
Once
Meletus
again,
a she?
I'm not allowed in hospitals. I don't know, actually.
She is.
Is it a she?
Yeah.
All right, so Meletus come out with a triumphant surge and then kill you funeral rites.
Oh, wow.
We both ended with funeral rites,
Funeral
I
rites.
think.
I mean, classic ending.
So
Yeah.
who would win? Meletus burst, kill you. Catoblepus either kill you or erase your memory.
Yeah. Which one you want?
You can vote at GLHF Magic on Twitter. Let us know which one of these people win in this super fight.
Catoblepus or Meletus?
Ooh,
All
that's
right.
a good one.
Should we make another champion?
Yeah, let's make another one.
All right. All right. Go for it.
Okay. What's going to happen is you are getting ready to go to this sweet party that's happening on
great.
Theros.
I'm excited.
And you're like, I'm really into it because the glory bearers are here.
Ooh.
And they've got a pretty cool thing that they're bearing into this party.
Which
you know?
is?
It's an entrancing lyre.
Oh.
Wow, sweet, awesome music at this party. This is really great.
Also, that lyre is no joke. Don't mess around. Don't sleep on it.
It really isn't. So the glory bearers bring in the entrancing lyre, and then you're listening to the music. It's so beautiful. And then with a sudden final flare, the music kills you.
No.
Final flare.
All right.
Don't sleep on that card. either.
Farika's spawn, you know, is just, it's here. It has escaped from the battlefield.
So
and is
creepy.
making you sacrifice a non-Gorgon creature.
It's pretty good.
And it not only is its own thing, it also has a Satyr's Cunning.
What is that card?
What?
Satyr's Cunning?
Red, sorcery, create a 1/1 red satyr creature token with this creature can't block, 2 and a red, escape, exile 2 other cards from your graveyard.
Oh, okay.
Satyr's Cunning. It has a Satyr's Cunning as well. So watch out. It
Oh.
really knows how to party. And it's going to use that cunning to get Erebos' intervention.
Oh, no.
To make you dead.
That's way spookier than a lyre that kills you with a final chord.
is a little Gorgon. Is a Gorgon that's as cunning as a satyr and has the intervention of the god of the underworld.
I was playing a draft the other day with Farika's spawn, and I managed to escape it from the graveyard 3 times,
Wow.
maybe more. I lost that game.
What?
Exactly.
That's wild.
I keep losing games,
Did
and
you
I'm like,
deck yourself
I should
again?
win. No, I don't. It was just something dumb. I think they had aggroed me out for a good portion of the game.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stabilize again after that.
Sometimes that's what happens.
I know. It was bizarre. All these times that I should win and I'm not is a lot, which I think speaks to something in my play style where I'm committed and doing a good job, and then I'm like, I'm thinking about something else, and then I just lose.
Yeah.
Something to work on maybe in my magical career. Hey, do you like cute things and Magic the Gathering?
Well, good news. Ultra Pro has got you covered.
That's right. Not only do they have super hardcore, serious, hard-hitting things for Magic the Gathering.
That's right. A lot of like no spin, hard hitting.
Like this deck box.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Ouch.
This is the real deal.
That actually sounded painful when you were knocking your knuckles on it.
You can protect your cards with this sucker.
Yeah.
But we also have lots of fun stuff.
Yes, like a My Little Pony deck box.
Yay!
It's so cute. It has like little neon drawings all over it.
I
and
know.
a pony on it. Oh,
I was
like
a
this
big My
pony.
Little Pony fan. I think you were
Same.
too. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I loved them.
We had all of my aunt's hand-me-down My Little Ponies.
Oh, great.
And they were great.
It's a weird thing. I didn't like horses,
We
but I liked
brushed
My
their
Little
tails
Ponies.
and we brushed their manes.
So if you're a My Little Pony fan, I've also
Yeah.
got this dice bag here, which has a skull with a little bow, and it's.
Cute.
I was gonna say hair, but I don't.
No, I guess
guess that's not a thing a skull
I guess
has.
not, but
A bow on its bones.
Yeah.
On its head bones. Here, it's called the Treasure Nest from Ultra Pro,
Cute.
which is pretty cool. A thing to keep all your dice or magical accoutrement in for when
Yeah.
you head to FNM. But yeah, I just want to highlight that there's not a lot of places making magical stuff that are going to have stuff that is not like just, the 5 colors of mana or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
It's going to have deck boxes themed after Lizzo's outfits.
Yeah, that's another
Not
reason we love
everybody
Ultra
does
Pro.
that. Not. Wow.
It's true. Not everybody does that.
What is wrong with me today? Not everybody does that, but Ultra Pro does.
Well, everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, talking about Pioneer, Greek myths, and all sorts of other silly stuff that we did with
things that you can do.
All the things you can do.
Yes.
Head on over to patreon.com/GLHFmagic.
Yeah, and make sure to keep up with the coverage that's coming out these next couple of weekends of the Players Tour and the World Championship. It's super exciting.
Really awesome stuff ahead in Magic. Every week we do the Upkeep, which you should listen to if you haven't, by the way.
Yeah.
It's our news podcast. It's just like there's just more and more happening in the sphere of Magic.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And also like keeps us on our toes over here at Good Luck High Five headquarters, making stuff for you every week. Check out cardkingdom.com/GLHF for any magical stuff you want to buy. For example, they sell all this stuff from Ultra Pro, which is really cool. Another one of our great sponsors. And yeah, I hope to see you all in chat this weekend at Phoenix and coming up for the World Championships too.
Until then, peace out.